Now, when you look at our GDP 2 years ago, it was $500 billion. What is it? $1 billion. What is it today?
199.
We are now $199 billion. Are we better off or worse off? We are living in our worst days. Pre-Jonathan regime, before we rebase the economy. Yeah. Before rebasing the economy, we're larger than this. It is easy to say that Nigeria economy grew by 4.6%. Is that really correct? In economics, is that really correct? Can you compare Nigeria with Osun State? Or can you compare Nigeria with Sokoto State? That is not be correct. You compare Nigeria with Ghana, you compare Nigeria with United Arab Emirates, and you compare Nigeria with Argentina. So when you are comparing, which currency do you use? You use the dollar. Now, when you look at our GDP 2 years ago, it was $500 billion. What is it? $1 billion. What is it today?
199.
We are now $199 billion. Are we better off or worse off? We are living in our worst days. Pre-Jonathan regime, before we rebase the economy. Yeah. Before rebasing the economy, we're larger than this. So everybody, per capita income in Nigeria now is nearly above $1,000. What used to be $3,000. So are we better off or worse off? How can subsidy removal with flotation be better? The question you should ask is, what should we have done differently? And there are options which were made available, written and in discussion to authority. But the cheapest way is for government revenue to boost, hoping President Tinubu hoped that governors will invest in the economy. Was that done? Was that done? But for a few states that actually reinvested this back into the economy, it's important for people to know the truth. After all, your station is about as it is. Yes. You need to say the truth.
Yes, as it is.
This economy is not as strong as it should be. This economy used to be the largest in the whole Africa. Today, the last time I spoke with your correspondent, we were number 4. Today, we are now number 5. Now check, the largest economy in Southern America is Brazil. It's also the largest country in population. The largest in North America is the United States. It's also the largest population with largest economy. Then you now go to Europe and see in Eastern Europe, you see Russia as the largest economy and also the largest population. And go to Western Europe, where you meet Germany, the largest population, largest economy. When you come to Africa, oh my dear black Africa, Nigeria is the largest population. It's not the first, it's not the second, it's not the third, it's not the fourth, now the fifth. So how can those two policies be good? It is more than obvious that they were made out of error, they were made in mistakes, and some of us had provided alternative solution to the government. Whether we will take it or not is another kettle of fish. But we cannot say because we have a dig, look for cutlass and beard ourselves, hoping that all will be well. It's like cutting our nose to spite our face. But well, the result is obvious in the public domain. People that are watching us and are listening to us, you ask themselves, are they better off today than they were 2 years ago? They should ask themselves. When we say that at the end of the tunnel, there will be light, the father of modern economics, macroeconomics for that matter, John Maynard Keynes, he said, and I quote, he said, in the long run, we are all dead. Ask anybody, we will go through pain. When will the pain end? Can they tell you it's going to be 1 year? It's going to be 5 years? Funnily enough, World Bank seems to provide the answer. Is that what you wait for 10 to 15 years?
15 years.
Can you continue like this for 10 to 15 years? And I asked in 2016, when I was interviewed by journalists, when Christine Lagarde told Nigeria that, don't worry, this economy will not go into a recession. I said, this economy will certainly go into a recession. I'm in Nigeria, I'm an economist in Nigeria, and I know for sure that this economy will go into a recession. Did you know that as against advice Christine Lagarde gave to President Buhari, Nigeria economy went into a recession? Was I happy? No. But is that the truth? That's what economics is about.
You can never whitewash a failure. You don't need a trumpet to sound how good a government is. When a government is good, the people on the street will feel it. When a government is bad, the people on the street will feel it. One thing that APC government has been good in is spreading propaganda. They rode on the heels of propaganda in 2015 to win the general election. And ever since then, they've maintained that same level of propaganda. It's crazy how anyone will come out to defend Bola Tinubu saying that he is doing the best for Nigeria. It's crazy how Bola Tinubu and his handlers are saying that they have revamped the economy, that the economy is rebounding. How is the economy rebounding and revamping when it is not being felt by the average man on the street? How is the economy rebounding and revamping when our GDP has drastically reduced? How is the economy rebounding and revamping when interest rate is still high, when inflation is still at 33%? All these were significantly lower when Bola Ahmed Tinubu took over as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, but today they are all high due to his bad policies. In his New Year message, the President was supposed to render an account of his stewardship to Nigerians, but he went ahead elogizing his government and basking in his own euphoria that Nigerians are experiencing the best thing ever in their life under his administration. Mr. P2B held a New Year press briefing where he exposed the lies and propaganda of the APC-led government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Among the things Mr. P2B stated is, he criticized the current state of democracy in Nigeria. He described it as faulty and expressing concern over the challenge faced by the opposition. Mr. P2B emphasized the need for selfless and exemplary leadership to steer the nation towards genuine democratic principles. Mr. P2B equally urged the president to undertake a nationwide tour to witness firsthand the level of poverty and suffering among Nigerians. Mr. P2B highlighted that over 100 million Nigerians live in extreme poverty, with more than 150 million experiencing multi-dimensional poverty. Mr. P2B equally expressed alarm over the rising inflation and economic hardship that is affecting Nigerians. He called on the government to implement effective measures to curb inflation and alleviate the financial burdens on Nigerians. APC, in their usual manner, dismissed Mr. P2B's concern and expose on Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration. They accused him of attempting to score cheap political points. They defended the current administration effort and dismissed Obi's critique as unfounded and being a prophet of doom. But thank God for this economic analyst that has come out to echo Mr. P2B's sentiment, that has come out to draw a critique, a rather expose on Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration. One thing with economics is that economics deals with facts and figures, with statistics. Facts and figures, statistics, they are sacrosanct. But you don't expect Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the APC to understand or take facts and figures and statistics serious. After all, they shouted, "Now statistics we go chop," but currently the statistics is staring them right in the face. The reality on ground shows otherwise. You cannot whitewash a failed government. The government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a failed government already. Over 150 million Nigerians are experiencing multi-dimensional poverty. Even though so many persons would like to say that these 150 million Nigerians that are living in multi-dimensional poverty did not start under Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Of course, we know that whatever we are experiencing in Nigeria today is a culmination of leadership failure. But as a president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is in office to do the best, to do his bit, to ensure that everything he met on ground that is on the negative side of it is reduced to the barest minimum. We are not asking him to turn it to entirely positive, but he should reduce it to the barest minimum. But Bola Ahmed Tinubu came into office and increased everything he met on ground, including increasing the number of people living in multi-dimensional poverty. The statistics are a stark reminder of the growing divide between the government policies and the realities that is being faced by ordinary Nigerians. Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his handlers, they've been touting and parroting about economics reform ever since they came into office. But the reality on ground is different from what they are parroting about. The average Nigerian is currently being burdened by rising inflation, fuel price hikes, and the deteriorating living standard. The purchasing power of the people has greatly reduced under Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration. While attempting to address fiscal challenge, Bola Ahmed Tinubu removed the fuel subsidy. The removal of fuel subsidy has had severe ripple effect on transportation costs, food prices, and the overall living conditions of the people. It is quite unfortunate that the president and his handlers are unaware that his policies have had greater adverse effect on average Nigerians. It has reduced the quality of life of average Nigerians, which has defeated the purpose of governance. Rising inflation has remained one of the pressing challenges under Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration. The food price has skyrocketed, the naira has plummeted, families are struggling to meet basic needs. There is no how you can tell the person on the street that the economy is rebounding when they can barely afford their basic food necessities. If the economy is rebounding, it will reflect on the price of goods in the market, it will reflect in the transportation costs, it will reflect in the take home of the workers, it will reflect on the income of the average Nigerians, it will reflect on the price of fuel. People now resort to stealing fuel in filling stations. Someone of this status can resort to stealing. Imagine what other people out there that do not have the financial capacity like this man will resort themselves to. This is the reality of things. This is what Bola Ahmed Tinubu has turned average Nigerians into. Nigerians have become beggars in their own land. Nigerians have become refugees in their own land. And yet, they want us to believe that the economy is rebounding. Rebounding from what? Rebounding from who? They made the economy worse, and they deserve no praise for making it to rebound. Take the economy back to how you met it. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.